For quite some time, I've wondered, when was it that the Academy of the New Church started playing football on the new field at Buck and Paper Mill? Here's the good old field where you can see the checkered water towers, and you can see what was then Bob and Bee Herder's house peeking out from the trees. There's the old peach orchard. And if you look carefully in the distance, you can see the bud plant. That's the way it should be. Does any of this really matter? No, but inquiring minds want to know. Here's where the Academy football team used to play, on what is now the girls' athletic field. You'll notice that the field is not oriented or orientated in the same direction as the current turf field. There's the glass house from the cathedral. There's the cathedral. Ballaboola. It would be nice if I could just ask some of these spectators, but almost all are already in the spiritual world except Bee Herder, who doesn't remember, although she remembers just about everything else. My go-to source, Sylvia Rose Cooper, has gone to the other world, so I can't ask her. So how does one find an answer to a question like that? The first thing I did was I turned to my friends on Facebook and asked for help. I asked, what was the first year that ANC played football on the current ANC football field at what was then Buck Road and Paper Mill Road? Sam Yardumian replied, when I was in school, it was referred to as the new football field. I'm going to guess early 1950s, maybe late 1940s. I want to say that if there's one thing I've learned in making these videos, it's when Sam Yardumian says something, you probably should listen. My brother Kurt has been a big help and was immediately all over this. He turned to old Academy yearbooks. Here he writes, action shot from the 1950 yearbook, which is to say the 1949 season. I can't tell where this would be. Well, folks, it certainly looks like it's on the new field to me. But certainly looks like isn't really good enough. I wanted to keep going and find definitive proof. Here's another shot from the 1949 yearbook or 1948 season. Kurt says, if I had to say, that looks like the new field. I could not agree more. As it turns out, that's my cousin Paul Osplund, whom I called Uncle Paul. You can just barely see his name written at the bottom of the photograph. This photograph, taken from the 1947 yearbook of the 1946 season, titled Sad Spectators, pretty clearly looks like it's taken at the old football field, which would indicate that they did not play football games on the new field during the 1946 season. Kurt also sent me this photograph of some spectators watching a football game during the 1948 season. It kind of looks like they're on a hill now, doesn't it? Where's that hill? Why, it's at the lower or newer football field. Is this definitive proof? No, but we're getting closer. And here's another shot. Same season, pretty much same group. It looks as if they're standing on a hill and that the camera is below where they are. Can that be done on the old field? Don't think so. It sure is nice having some of these photographs as evidence of when the Academy first started playing football on the new field. Kurt's conclusion? 1946 season, definitely on the old field. 1948 season, pretty sure on the new field. 1947 season? It's a mystery. Now let's solve the mystery. So far I have found no articles or photographs or any witness testimony about what happened during the 1947 season. To better determine when the Academy of the New Church football team first played varsity games on the new field at Buck and Paper Mill Roads, I searched the Academy Library for old issues of the Academy Journal seeking published evidence on when the field became available. In the February 1947 issue, published midway through the 1946-1947 school year, Dr. William Whitehead, head of the history department at ANC College, authored The Academy College, Questions and Answers. Here's a photograph of Dr. Whitehead teaching senior boys in the lounge at Stewart Hall. This had to happen because of the Benaid Hall fire. I know that they're senior boys because I can see my cousin Paul Osplund, who looks an awful lot like his children and grandchildren. Dr. Whitehead's article responded to inquiries from the 1946 General Assembly of the Church of the New Jerusalem held in Bernathen that summer. Dr. Whitehead wrote, "During the recent General Assembly," that's the 1946 General Assembly held in Bernathen, "many inquiries were made as to the nature of the college curriculum now offered to our new church ex-servicemen and women, and any others desirous of high education in new church schools, and it has been thought useful to set down here some brief replies to specific inquiries received. The first question asked was, what are the present numbers of actual college students and teachers? Dr. Whitehead's answer was, the total student enrollment as of the middle of November 1946 is 101. Of these, 55 are women and 46 are men. Included are 34 ex-servicemen and 2 ex-service women. Some of these same ex-servicemen are shown in a team photograph from the 1946 football season. Dr. Whitehead wrote his answer to this question in February of 1947, while it had been asked some months before in the summer of 1946. This distinction is key as it clarifies which fall is meant when the new football field is described as ready in the fall in response to another question from the 1946 General Assembly. That other question asked at the 1946 General Assembly was, how about the physical activities of the college students? Professor Stanley F. Ebert, head of the Physical Education Department, informed Dr. Whitehead that college men and women at present participate on a voluntary basis. Dr. Whitehead reported that Mr. Ebert tells us that the splendid new athletic field, carved out of a portion of the Academy farm, will be ready next fall. It has a beautiful southern exposure with a grandstand effect in the 2 separate terrace levels. It will include both baseball and football fields, among other things. Did someone mention baseball? Yes. Why, yes, they put a new baseball field over on the same field where the new football field was. I remember watching the kids play there when I was young. And look at this 1940s tall catcher for ANC. Sure looks like an Osplund. I'll bet that's my Uncle Bob who graduated in 1947. Does this prove anything as to the timing of the moving of the baseball field? No. Does that matter? No. Without understanding that Dr. Whitehead was answering these questions after the start of the 1946 football season, one might incorrectly conclude that ANC had played the 1946 season on the new football field. However, with that understanding, it's clear that the field would not have been ready until the fall of 1947. Building on this, the August 1947 issue of the Academy Journal, which reviewed the 1946-1947 school year, includes Professor Ebert's report of the Director of Physical Education. He reported, this department wishes to report considerable progress. Play space and facilities have been increased and rendered more effective. Projects completed or in process of completion are a new play field for football games and other outdoor activities located behind Stewart Hall across Buck Road. Later in the same article, Professor Ebert wrote, in the fall, there was a large group practicing and playing football. This raises a point of confusion. How could that be possible if the field was still described as in process in August 1947, implying field readiness by the fall of that same year? The large group would have had to be active in the fall of 1946. Remember that Professor Ebert mentioned that this was in process or complete at different periods of time and that it was built in stages. Possible explanations for this confusion might include informal play on partially completed sections of the field, delayed reporting of events, or references extending slightly beyond the strict 1946-1947 boundaries. In the same issue, the report of the principal of the Boys Academy included this information. In the fall, we had football, both varsity and JV, with a regular schedule for both teams and touch football. Since the issue covered the 1946-1947 school year, the principal was referring to fall 1946 activities, which could have included touch football or practices on an in-process field. Taken together, the evidence from these issues of the Academy Journal indicate that the new field was not fully ready until fall 1947, with any 1946 football activities likely occurring on alternative sites or incomplete portions. This supports the conclusion that the first varsity games on the completed field took place in the fall of 1947. Please remember that this football field was built in stages. Here's a little bit of evidence of that. If you look in the end zone just past the goalpost toward Paper Mill Road, you can see a whole bunch of trees that actually went all the way up to Buck Road. They certainly aren't there now. Let's try to figure out when they disappeared. This clip that includes a young Wynn and Lark Pitcairn was probably taken in 1953. This footage, taken roughly in 1953, still shows you trees in the end zone past the goalpost. Remember that those trees are between the goalpost and Paper Mill Road, and they go all the way up to Buck Road. Now, how about this game from the 1960s? Do you see those trees beyond the end zone? I don't either. All the way up to Buck Road. This new football field was even used by elementary school age boys who played what was called blue and gold football. I believe that this was taken in 1952 or 1953. How did I arrive at that guess? Well, I can see one of the clips. I can see Ian and Bruce Henderson, and I can see Christopher Osplund, who was born in 1939, making him just about the right age for blue and gold football. And look who is coaching blue and gold. Why, none other than Bryn Anthony Elementary School principal David Simmons. Oh look, there's my great uncle Carl Osplund on the sideline. He's the one with the gray suit and no tie. Here's this same photograph of the 1946 ANC football team, including the ex-GIs. This photographic evidence, combined with the old Academy journals, shows that yes, they played on the old field in 1946. You can see some much older kids in the front row. They are the returning GIs. Number 24, Dennis Cooper, and number 25, Highland Johns, were much older than some of the seniors. Dennis Cooper was actually 6 years older than my uncle, Robert Osplund, who's in the second row, number 33, toward the left. These GIs got to play football on the high school team after coming back from war. I can only imagine that it would have been much easier for Dennis to play on a football team after having been in the Battle of the Bulge. Besides that team photo from 1946, let's take a quick look again at these photographs that helped us determine when was the first time the Academy played football on the new field. Here's the 1949 season, and here's the 1948 season, and here's the 1946 season, and two more from the 1948 season. Now back to Kurt's conclusion. The 1946 season was definitely played on the old field. The 1948 season was almost certainly played on the new field. And while it's still a little bit of a mystery because we have no photographs to corroborate our conclusions, it's almost certain that they started playing football on that field, the new field, in 1947. Why else would they have written all that stuff in the Academy journals about the field being ready in the fall of 1947? By the way, take a look at this aerial 1915 shot of the Academy campus. Can you see that the orchard had just been planted? Look, there are no trees on what is now the football field. Interesting. So we have photographs of this field before the trees grew up, while the trees were there, and after the trees were cut down again. So we've seen some pretty good evidence, both photographic and published written evidence, to help solve our mystery about when ANC started playing football games on the new football field. But I also had a different kind of evidence, anecdotal evidence from witnesses who were there as kids to watch ANC playing football. Molly McDonough, yes, that Molly McDonough, the same one who has helped me in so many other situations, identifying this or that or the other thing, remembers in 1953 taking a newborn Kevin McDonough over to the football field in a baby carriage and remembering that that was a pretty big deal. Another good witness was Sonia Zecker, who graduated from the academy in 1955. She would have entered the academy in the fall of 1951 and clearly remembers seeing all of the football games while she was in high school only on the new field, and she's pretty certain that she remembers watching games on the new field while she was in at least the last couple of years of elementary school. Mina Smith came to the academy from Canada in the fall of 1948 for sophomore year of school. She remembers the Benaid Hall fire. She remembers seeing football games played only on the new field and never on the old field, which is now the girls' athletic field. I think it's pretty clear that ANC first started playing football games on the new field in 1947, but we do not have definitive proof. If anyone should be able to produce any proof, please let me know, and you will win a Gold Star Award. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you also to those who have helped me. My brother Kurt, Molly McDonough, Anna Pendleton, Sonia Zecker, Mina Smith, Gail Coffin, B. Herder, Bruce Henderson, and more.